Hi YouTube, and this is JTrain997, and I'm back this time with my review of the DC Multiverse Kenner Tribute line Poison Ivy figure. Now, I just walked into my local Target a week to the day after seeing these things announced at San Diego Comic-Con, and I found all three on the pegs with my local Targets, kind of jammed in there with that Legends of Tomorrow Hawkman nobody wants. They had all three. From what I could tell from seeing what was on the shelf, it looks like Batman is 2 a case, Joker and Poison Ivy are 1 a case. But as you can see here, Poison Ivy comes with these 4 strands of just kind of leafy foliage that all clip onto her body and her crossbow. So that being said, there's not too much to say about this packaging. Let's open her up. And here we have Poison Ivy out of the packaging. Now we'll get a quick 360 of her. The little leaf foliage just kind of wraps around her legs and arms, and you just basically leave it on. It'll stay on. Any kind of movement, however, will pretty much usually make you have to repose it again. You can just pick the figure up, and these leg ones especially, let's pull that off. You see how they kind of naturally coil? You wrap it around the leg. It's just dark green. It's actually got a bit of sculpting as far as a little bit of leaves in there, but just here and there, some parts just kind of bland plastic. Still, once they're actually on her, they look nice. Now, surprisingly enough, as far as her crossbow goes, they left one hand closed and they went with just this one big peg. I would have much preferred 2 open hands so she could kind of cradle the crossbow, but they went with this very light green. Now, to my knowledge, I think this is the first time they've ever given us this particular accessory. I don't remember any other DC Universe classics coming with this. It's the flat green except for the bolt, which is a black arrow. And this part's kind of a soft plastic, but it holds its shape just fine. And I guess at the very least, despite her not having 2 open hands to hold it, it does fit in this hand just fine. Now, let's get her leaf accessories off her. Vines, whatever you want to call them. Now, I know that the DC Universe, the club, Multiverse did a Poison Ivy. They did her in her more modern, like, even her skin is green kind of a look. And even though I know this is based on the classic toy line, this is the look I prefer for her. Just this classic kind of human dressed up in all green. You know. And as I said with the Joker review, I felt like they dumbed down his head sculpt to kind of pay tribute to the Kenner line. This is just a decent Poison Ivy head. I don't know if it's a repaint of the one that came with the club, because I never got that figure. But it's nice either way. Now, her sculpted hair has pretty much limited all but the slightest movement in her head. You can see she's actually got a little leaf choker on, which is very hard to see. As far as the rest of her articulation, it's pretty much the standard for the DC Universe Classics line, unhindered. Arms are on a ball joint. No movement at all at the bicep. Elbows bend and spin. Spin and, is that a hinge? Yep, hinge wrist, which is very nice. It's got some very nice ab articulation. Turns at the abdomen, but a little bit hindered. No waist joint. Legs go forward, back to about there, out. Spin at the quadricep, although that joint's a bit stiff. Both of them are pretty stiff. Double jointed knee, and have an ankle joint with, is there a pivot in here? It's not feeling like it. Yeah, I think it's just the standard ankle joint, no pivot, which is odd because the Joker definitely got a pivot. So, I'm really glad that they finally got around to giving us some more classic Poison Ivy. I picked up a handful of figures from the Multiverse Club, but she's just one of the ones that I missed when it first came out, then it shot up in price, so I decided not to chase her after. Maybe this figure coming out will make her price drop. Again, this is very early to have seen these. I know Mattel's losing the license, but I don't know really at what pace they're rushing these out, because they've got a whole Batman line still to come out with a Build-A-Figure Killer Croc later in this year, supposedly. But, yeah, again, it's a little annoying to put these vines on, because you've got to kind of follow the natural coils, but once they're on, as long as you've got her in the pose you want, they're going to stay. You know, I'm not going to go crazy and glue them on or anything, but it's definitely something you got to fight with just a little bit. So let's get her posed. This line runs you $20. I found mine at my local Target. If you're into Poison Ivy or just need another Batman villain for your Rogues gallery, I do recommend picking her up. Especially since she's not a figure they do all that often. I really wish I could just get her little leafy coils on her real quick. Yeah, that's That's good enough. So I definitely think she's worth the pickup, even if you're not into the whole classic Kenner vibe. She really, like I said with the head sculpt, you can't really tell she's supposed to be from that Kenner line at all. If I can get her to stand for a second. So, you know, little things I don't like. I wish she got two open hands. She's beginning to look like she might need a base. So, I still do recommend picking her up. And that being said, this is JTrain997, and I'll see you soon, YouTube.
Audio Jungle.